process of gathering and documenting, I think we feel that it has to be more natural, regular part of their day or their routine.
I realized I made a bit of an error, I think, by recording and giving the student a chance to chat with me beforehand and talk about what he wanted to say. It's much better if it's authentic and it's just coming right out, because he didn't show in the video his progression of thinking because he'd already done it. And so when we recorded, he went right in with something he had figured out after going through his practice run. So I'm just aware that it's better to have an authentic piece, and that has to do with being in the moment. It's not a product that you're trying to create, it's a moment.
I think it was great too, having it on videotape and then coming to the class. I know we talked a lot about the videos, but bringing it here and then discussing with another group of teachers.
Another set
Another
of
set of
us.
eyes.
Yeah.
Another set of us.
What the student did know and what they didn't know.
Feedback for this student. When Aisha she wanted to watch it when it was done, and she was upset because she kept saying triangle instead of rectangle, and she kept saying degrees instead of centimeters.
Yes.
So she wanted to do it again.
Yeah.
So it was good feedback for her.
In terms of approaching and sharing the learning with the whole class, the student who gets it can, or had part of the solution, could work as a guide to figure or help out the others, instead of the teacher being present at each time, because you have a multi-level classroom and there's so many needs. So this can be something that when they see for themselves how they have solved the problem and the others have the sample to view, you know, they can help each other out and use that as a tool in terms of whole class sharing.
Building on that same idea, because we talked more about how this gathering and documenting evidence helped us, and by consequence our students, but the capturing of a video and or a photo or so documenting what was going on in the classroom and then actually printing it and posting it. So similarly, so if somebody has come up with a different way of doing subtraction or an effective way of doing subtraction, besides doing it in the moment, it's you've got document of that moment and then some language around it. So today, you know, and subtracted 3 from 10 by breaking up the blocks, and you've got the photographic evidence, and so that really builds, I think, the language along with the remembrance and being able to do that.
We talked about just the power of working with conferencing with one student and the power of small group instruction, which I was sharing is something that my school is focusing on right now. And just, you know, I think a lot of times in particular in a LEAP class, you spend a lot of your day putting out fires all over the place and not taking the time to sit with a student and really take the time to uncover those competencies that they have, but they don't always, you know, they can't put pen to paper and show us that. So really uncovering that was a very powerful process for me. And just try and find time to use that more throughout the day with other students as well. I think it really allows for us to access student voice and to honor that, because it really is student focused. It's not about me talking and giving knowledge. It's really about them sharing with their understanding and then being able to focus our instruction, our next steps on what they're showing us is pretty cool.
We started off by saying how powerful the videos were when we actually had the time that, you know, this workshop allowed us, and you know, the deadlines forced us to look at what we were doing, and that just as Anne had described when they were presenting their other reflections, you thought you were doing all kinds of assessment and you were gathering, but having the video evidence in front of you has really made a difference for us, and then again for our students. And I think learning to share it more, and then what do we still need to learn about? It was being more systematic and organized, not just about taking the videos or you're gathering the evidence and gathering the documentation, but using it, I mean, taking the time to reflect on it and learn from it, using it, whether it's posting in the classroom, sharing with parents, we've talked about using Seesaw more, and like all the different tools that are out there that we now know more about, but actually building it in so it's a part of daily practice. And then that hope of maybe handing over that gradual release of responsibility to the students, where they're actually documenting their own work much more independently and seeing the meaning and the purpose behind the work and the power of the documentation for themselves.